guys, so I'm at the Thomas Cemetery in North Little Rock, Arkansas, and this is a super interesting location that I've investigated previously. Very, very sad story. This particular location, there were multiple graves that had been robbed and pillaged throughout the years, and I wanted to come back and sort of check it out and see how things were today. So last time I was here, there were a lot of graves that had been dug up, and they were still fairly fresh diggings. As you can see, most of these graves are all pretty old, so there really would have been no reason for those stones or those graves to have been opened. For instance, here's one. M. Kennedy, 1864, died 1930. It was interesting. We actually had received a call from one of the local homeowners that lived near the cemetery that there were strange lights that were seen here, and that they had dogs and children that would be afraid to actually come into the cemetery. So we came out, did a short little investigation, and as I said, there was some really horrifying. It was a very horrifying scene when we actually got here and saw that there had been a bunch of graves that had been dug up. You can actually see these look like they've been sort of buried for a while, but obviously there's a lot of graves here that are unmarked as well. Just sort of goes with the age of the cemetery, I suppose. I remember this one was one of the ones that had been dug up. It looks like it's fully grown back. It was probably maybe 15, 20 years ago since I came out here. It's been a while. So, hand-lettered stone. Henry Wahlberg died October 1920. And Anna Wahlberg. Yeah, you can see there's stones that are missing. Cemetery's still in. Oh, you can see there was one that had been dug up. These are interesting. Landrum. Sultana Landrum and Frederick P. Landrum. Yeah, they're metal. Yeah, you can see there's actually a bunch of markers that are still in the ground with no corresponding graves. Here's a marker with literally just a stone, an unmarked stone. So yeah, there's bodies scattered throughout the cemetery that there's no telling how long that they've been here, or how long it's been since they've had a proper memorial, if ever. There's a little baby, Cecil Hamlet. February 11th, 1916 to June 5th, 1916. It's almost 4 months. Yeah, here's just a piece of stone. It's very sad, you know. Here's a big indent in the ground. There's obviously a grave here. You know, I really enjoy coming to cemeteries and sort of seeing the historical aspect, and I really think that there is something very beautiful and serene about cemeteries. And it really bothers me that people desecrate graves and destroy monuments. It just doesn't make any sense to me how somebody could be so disrespectful of the dead. When I did come out here last to investigate, we had talked to several of the homeowners that live around the cemetery, and several of those had sort of mentioned to us that they believed that the caretaker of the cemetery was actually the one that had been digging up some of the graves and stealing jewelry specifically. So I'm reading this sign. This looks like the sign was recently erected. Yeah, actually it was. It was erected in 2020 by the National Society Daughters of the American Colonists. It says Thomas Cemetery. James W.B. Thomas donated this 2-acre site as a cemetery for persons in this area of Pulaski County. Over 700 early settlers were buried here between 1876 and 1960, including 14 veterans of the Civil War, 2 of World War I and 2 of World War II. It was neglected, vandalized, storm damaged, and unclaimed. In 2018, the city of North Little Rock became owner. Okay, great. Mayor Joe Smith appointed the Thomas Cemetery Advisory Committee to be responsible for its restoration and preservation. That's great. So when I was here last, it was definitely prior to 2018. I want to say it was like 2006, maybe 2007. And as I said, this place was in absolute disarray, and it was very evident that multiple graves had been recently dug up and robbed. Very sad, but I'm glad that the city of North Little Rock now are the proper owners of this cemetery, and they're doing the right thing to maintain it.